Hi guys, Marian here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to an expose on all the things I've done wrong as a mom. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Marian and I make videos about being a mom and being a Jewish mom, and I would love to have all of you as one of my subscribers, so don't forget to hit that red subscribe button down below. All it means is that my videos will pop up on your feed if you go to YouTube. Okay, so let's jump in. The mistakes that I have made. I have been a mom for 5.5 years now, and I've made some mistakes, so I thought it'd be fun to just kind of reminisce about them and also just kind of do some introspection, reflection, and think about how to make things better for the future. This, by the way, is my littlest son, Zachary, and I already made a mistake today because I spent so long showering and getting ready to film this video that he woke up from his nap. So now he's part of the video, but that's okay. Okay, my first mistake as a mom happened on day one. And that was right after I gave birth to my son. He was really jaundiced and I was a fanatic about breastfeeding him and absolutely refused to even consider a drop of formula. And now I look back on it and I'm like, why? The most important thing when you're jaundiced as a baby is to drink that milk. And honestly, if I had just been given formula to him, he probably would have been able to reduce those jaundice levels a lot quicker. He was fine. We left the hospital on time. Everything was totally fine. We were never in sort of a danger zone of any kind. But I just look back on the stress of that, hearing that his jaundice levels were high and knowing that my milk wasn't coming in. And I'm just like, why? Anyways, but I did learn my lesson. My next two babies were jaundiced as well, and for this one, he had a tiny bit of formula in the hospital and the jaundice went right down. My second mistake as a mom goes right along with that, and I just wish I hadn't been so crazy about breastfeeding, because everything I had read said that if you supplement at all, then your supply will diminish, and that's the end. You'll never be able to breastfeed your baby. So I had this paranoia that if they had one sip of formula, we would never breastfeed again. And what I've learned actually is that sometimes formula can be really helpful, especially in the jaundice situation, where milk hasn't come in, or whatever the situation may be that you might need a little bit of formula. So with this baby, and believe me, I haven't learned all my lessons yet, but that one I have. I mentioned that he had a little bit of formula in the hospital. For his first 3 weeks, I would say we were giving formula about 10 to 20% of the time, a small amount, but it was enough to help me rest and get my sleep, and it just helped everything, and now we don't even need it. So anyways, lesson learned on that. The next mistake I made is not realizing that everything is just a phase. Oh my goodness. I swear, every night when I was nursing my little babies, I would be on Google searching every kind of thing about what the baby was doing and trying to figure out if it was normal, if it was okay. And what I've come to realize from babyhood to toddlerhood to preschool and kindergarten age now is that everything is a phase. So when this little baby was born, my 2-year-old all of a sudden started waking up in the middle of the night. He had always been such a great sleeper, and all of a sudden at 2.5, he was waking up in the middle of the night out of nowhere. And obviously it was because this new baby was coming. But at the time I was like, should we call a sleep consultant? What should we do? And I just was like, okay, step back. It took 2 months maybe. It did take a while, but everything was a phase, and now he's totally back to his normal sleep routine. But I think in the moment it's so easy to get carried away and be like there's something wrong, when really it's just a phase. Okay, the next mistake I made, I continue to make, and that is that I definitely have missed some opportunities to instill some good habits in my children. So for example, when winter hit this year, I started telling my kids that they had to take off their shoes in our mudroom right as they come in the door, because we had muddy snow boots and stuff. And it clicked for them like that. I don't even remind them anymore. And every day they take off their shoes without me even saying anything, it still shocks me. I'm like, that was easy. Literally, they just know. They come in the house, they take off their shoes. And now I'm thinking, why didn't I instill other habits in them? Putting away their toys, or getting themselves dressed in the morning without me having to help. All those things that they definitely are capable of, but I as a mom didn't set the limit or the boundary or this is how things are in our house. And a lot of it is because I just like naturally want to do it for them, which is not good. But the shoe lesson was such an eye-opener to me that like they are capable of doing so much more than I ask of them, and I know that. So that's definitely a mistake I make as a parent, but let me know. What advice do you guys have on that? Along that line, speaking of the cleaning up, this is definitely a failure on my part, but I wish I had made the rule that when they were done using or playing with one thing that they clean it up and then move to the next. Here's my issue though. I feel like kids play so randomly. It's not like an adult where they take out one thing, do that thing, and then put that thing away. It's like they're here, they're there, the toys are mixed up together. It's one giant imaginary world. So that's my justification about it. But I know I should have at least said that like in the evenings we do a tidy up or whatever it is. But I have failed. I have failed on that one. Okay, my last mistake that I want to share with you guys is that I am such a helicopter mom, and I think it's good and bad. So I was laughing at myself the other day. The boys had ice skating lessons, and my youngest, Corey, was the littlest in the class. He's not even 3 yet, and the instructor was kind of like with the older kids, and I walked myself out on that ice and said to the instructor, could you help him? Because like he was just, you know, lost out there on the big ice and he couldn't catch up to the big ones. And it's just funny because I just never imagined myself being the kind of mom that would march out on the ice and yell at the instructor. I didn't yell at him, I asked politely. And sometimes I'm like, if I didn't do that, then, you know, my kids would better advocate for themselves, and that is something that is so important to me to teach them, is to stand up for themselves, to speak for what they want. Like every morning for preschool drop off, they're like, can you tell my teacher this? I'm like, you have to tell her, like you use your words, you tell her what you want, you know, whatever it is. But then there's other situations where I just can't help myself. So anyways, those are the mistakes I've made as a mom so far. Let me know. I mean, as much as this is a lighthearted topic, also I think it is important to reflect on how we're doing as parents and like how to make things better. And I know we're all just trying our best, and especially these past years, like I know we're all doing as much as we can in such a tough time. So I try to not be too harsh about it. We have the screen time, we have the messy house, you know, whatever it is, we just make sure that the kids feel loved and cared for, and that's really all that matters, and I know that. So let me know, what mistakes are you guys making? Is it just me that hasn't trained my kids to clean up after themselves? Send help in the cleaning lady. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye. Say bye. Say bye-bye. 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 Look at that smile. Bye-bye.